So we can get started. We'll start in a child's pose toward the back of your mat. So your feet can be together and your knees can be together if you want to focus more on lengthening the spine, or your feet can be together and your knees can be apart if you would like to focus more on the hips. The arms can be reaching long down your mat. They can be stacked underneath the forehead or back behind you. That's however is comfortable for you in this moment. And now let's take a nice cleansing breath, inhaling through the nose, filling up the whole body, and releasing through the mouth. Feeling the body softening into this position. Breathing into the back of the body. Feeling each breath traveling into the backs of the ribs and the lungs. Feeling the back expanding with each inhale and falling with each exhale. Notice right away how the mind is doing today, how the body is feeling today. And if you have no other goal for this practice, let your goal be to be completely present with yourself for the next hour or so. Just allowing yourself to listen to my cues, to listen to your body, to just be in this moment. This is your time, so as always, if there's a pose that doesn't feel right in your body, feel free to skip it. If there's any pose that feels extra good, feel free to stay there longer. Tonight's practice will be vinyasa and yin, so we'll start with more movement, getting the blood flowing, and we'll finish with more restorative, passive poses. And start to reach your arms long on the mat if they're not there. Then activate your child's pose by pushing your hands into the mat, letting the arms lift off the mat. Rocking the hands a little bit further away, just getting this really nice length from the hips through the fingertips. Maybe coming onto tented fingertips. And then root down your hands into the mat and feel like you're dragging the floor toward your knees as you pull yourself up to your tabletop position. And just checking in with your alignment when you arrive, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And just take a few cat-cows just to start your practice. Inhaling, lowering the belly, lifting the gaze and tailbone, and exhaling, curling the spine, lifting the back of the heart. Feel free to close the eyes, to move with your breath. Then take some side body movements too. If you haven't already, you can wag your tail, opening up the side bodies, really just feeling the space you're creating from your hips through the shoulders, whether that's condensing one side and then lengthening the other. Then we can take some spinal rotations. So as you come back to center, you can bend one elbow, maybe bring that to the floor as you look over the straight shoulder. Awesome. And then coming back up and changing sides. The same thing, moving with your breath here. And then finding your way back to center as you're ready. We'll wake up the shoulders a little bit more, coming into puppy pose. So you can walk the hands forward and melt the heart down. Just leaving the hips right over the knees. Perfect. Breathing into the space between the shoulder blades, the back of the heart. Each exhale, let your shoulder blades draw intentionally closer together, and your heart surrenders a bit closer to the floor. And then from your puppy pose, just start to root down in the forearms and hands even more. Pull your navel up to your spine as you roll your body through, snaking it forward into a sphinx pose. So your hips and pubic bone come to the floor. The shoulders are over the wrist or the elbows, pointers facing forward. And root down in the toes, in the shins and the knees, zipping up the legs, letting all the muscles in the legs be firm. And then feel as if you could draw your heart through your biceps and drag the floor closer to you. Beautiful. Shoulder blades drawing together down the back, lifting that heart even more. One more breath here. And then exhale, you can release, make a pillow with your hands, bend your knees toward your bum, and just windshield wiper the legs a few times. Massaging out the belly, releasing the lower back. And then starting to bring the legs back to center, you can reach them long on your mat. Bring the hands right underneath your shoulders and just push yourself back up to your tabletop position. This time we'll come into a cow pose, but tucking the toes under. So inhaling into your cow with the toes tucked. Then exhale, lift your hips back and up to your downward facing dog. Inhale, come back down to your cow pose. So the knees come slowly to the ground, lifting the chin and the tailbone, cow pose. And then exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time so you can go with your own breath. Inhaling to cow. And exhaling, lifting back and up. And this time we'll stay in our down dog. You can pedal out the feet a few times. Put a generous bend in each leg, looking under each armpit maybe. Letting out some big exhales. Just checking in with your alignment, seeing the hands are shoulder width distance with the wrist creases parallel to the front edge of your mat. And the feet are about hips width distance or 2 fists. And the distance between the hands and the feet is up to you. So just finding that nice space where it feels right for you. All the energy consolidating to your hips, lifting your sit bones as high as you possibly can. Maybe finding stillness for a moment, with the heels reaching toward the ground as far as they can. Pulling the navel in toward the spine, finding more length in the lower back. Bending the knees as much as you need to. 2 more exhales here. Broadening the shoulder blades. Letting the shoulders be neutral. And then bend the knees, look up in between the hands, and just start to walk your feet to meet your hands. No rush at all. And we'll land in a halfway lift as you inhale. And exhaling to your forward fold. So surrendering here for a few breaths. Arms can be wherever they're comfortable. Shifting your weight slightly more toward the balls of the feet. You can shift your weight forward and back and side to side, just so that you can really feel how the pose changes depending on where the weight is concentrated in the feet. And just finding that space where it's slightly more on the balls of the feet. So you can feel your sit bones lifting even higher, even when the legs are straight. Or even when the legs are bent. 2 more breaths here. And slowly on your next inhale, you can start to root to rise all the way up to stand. 1 vertebrae at a time, sweeping the arms out and up at the top. Exhaling the hands to heart center. And just taking this moment to check in with your heartbeat, check in with your breath. And on your next inhale, reach both arms up toward the ceiling. And exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale and release. Beautiful. Inhale, root to rise all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that once more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, straight line from the tailbone through the crown of the head. And exhale, release. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up, maybe a slight back bend at the top. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, release, forward fold. Plant the hands down, step back to your plank position. Always an option to bring the knees down here if you need to. And slowly lowering the elbows alongside the ribs, bring yourself in one piece down to your mat. Rooting the toes, the pubic bone into the ground. Inhale, lift your heart, baby cobra. Exhale, release, forward fold. Down to your mat. And then inhale, come up through your tabletop or your plank, tuck your toes under, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Three breaths here. And then bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, swan dive all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back to your plank. You can do exactly what we did before, lower all the way down into your baby cobra, or take your chaturanga and up dog if that is in your practice. Just moving through your vinyasa flow, meeting in a downward facing dog. So if you have any other sort of vinyasa flow you move through, feel free to take that whenever I say to move through your flow, and also feel free to skip them altogether. This is your practice, so just listen to your body. On your next inhale, bend the knees, look forward and step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, once again, swan dive all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back to plank. Move through your vinyasa, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Just 2 breaths here. And then bend the knees, look forward and step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And pause for a moment here. Check in with yourself, check in with your heartbeat once again. Maybe it's beating a bit faster. Maybe the breath is a bit faster. Reminding yourself why you're here right now. And on your next inhale, sink your hips down as you lift the arms up to your chair pose. So you don't have to sink low. You just want you want to be able to see your toes in front of the knees, seeing their tailbone tucking down. Beautiful. Perfect. Feel the legs firing up. And then exhale from here, straighten the legs and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, release, fold. Plant your hands, step back to a plank. Move through your vinyasa, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Awesome. From your down dog, inhale your right leg back and up. And exhale, bend your knee into the chest and step it forward to the top of your mat. Pivot your back foot to warrior one legs and inhale, rise up, warrior one. Your back toes are at about 45-degree angle. Your feet can be as wide as you need to have your hips square to the front of your mat. Perfect. So you can turn your back toes in to face kind of the front left corner of the mat. Your front knee is right over the front ankle. Your right hip feels like it's pulling back, left hip feels like it's pulling forward. Your hands can be on your hips to feel the headlights there. Should be facing forward, or they can be lifting up if you want some more length. Your tailbone tucking down, feeling how that stretches the left hip flexor even more. Rooting into the four corners of both feet. Lifting the toes to activate that, and then letting the toes grip back down. Beautiful. One more breath here. And then exhale, hands come down to frame your front foot. Step back to a plank, move through your vinyasa flow, and we'll meet in a down dog. Just letting it go here. Coming back to the breath. As you inhale, lift your left leg back and up. Exhale, bend the knee into the chest and step it forward to the top of your mat. Your back heel pivots to 45-degree angle as you rise up, warrior one on the other side. Same thing over here, just checking in with that alignment. Front knee stays over the front ankle. Your feet can be as wide, as close together as they need to, for the four corners of both feet to be on the floor and your hips to be square to the front edge of your mat. So constantly feeling that scissoring action of the hips. Inner thighs feeling like they're magnetically being drawn in toward each other. Tailbone tucking down, feeling how that increases the stretch in the right hip flexor. Perfect. Another breath here. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to frame your front foot. Step back to a plank, move through a vinyasa flow, and we'll meet in a down dog. Just letting it go. Bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pausing just for a moment again. Checking back in. Relaxing the forehead, the jaw, the eyebrows. The shoulders fall away from the ears. We'll do another flow on either side when you're ready. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Plant your hands, step back to a plank, move through a flow if you would like, and we'll meet in a down dog. As you inhale, raise your right leg back and up. As you exhale, point the toes, stack the hips, and bend the knees. So bringing the right hip more on top of the left, opening your hips up. And then next inhale, level out the hips, reach your leg long. And exhale, bend the knee into the chest, step it to the top of your mat. Pivot your back foot to warrior two legs, and inhale, rise up to warrior two. The back foot is now parallel to the back edge of your mat. Front heel is either intersecting the back arch or in line with the back heel. And your front knee is reaching toward the pinky side of the foot, so feeling it like your right hip is tucking under, really opening that up. Arms are reaching from the heart center. Shoulder blades draw together down the back. Beautiful. Again, option to lift the toes to really activate the four corners of the feet, and then grip them back down. Flip your front palm and inhale, reverse your warrior, reaching up and then back. And then come forward, back to warrior two. Inhale, reach forward now to extended side angle, so your right elbow can rest on the knee, and your left ear, your hand comes up alongside the left ear, just feeling that space from the outside edge of your left foot all the way through the left fingertips. Beautiful. And then continue reaching your left hand down to frame your front foot. Lift your back heel, step back to a plank, move through a flow if you'd like, and we'll meet in a down dog. We have one more side to even out. So as you're ready, you can inhale your left leg back and up. And exhale to point the toes, stack the hips, then the knee, opening up your hips now to the left. Inhale, level out the hips, reach the leg long. And exhale, knee comes into chest, step the foot to the top of your mat. Pivot your back foot now, warrior two legs, and we'll rise up, warrior two. Perfect. So feeling your hips square to your right, front knee reaching toward the pinky side of the foot. Same thing as the other side. Really feeling the power of this pose. Feeling the arms reaching from your heart center. Beautiful. Feel the tailbone reaching straight down, crown of the head reaching straight up. Perfect. And then flip your front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. So reaching up and then back. And then coming back to center. Reaching forward so your elbow rests on the knee and the right arm comes up alongside the right ear to extended side angle. Just make sure you're lifting up out of that left shoulder too, so you're not putting too much weight in there, just focusing on feeling the space from the outside of your right foot through the right fingertips. And then continue this motion with your arm, bringing the hands down to frame your front foot. Lift your back heel, step back to a plank. Move through one final flow if you would like, and we'll meet in a down dog. Maybe fluttering the lips, maybe letting out a big sigh. When you're ready, bend the knees, look toward the top of your mat, and step your feet up to meet your hands. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. So we'll do a balancing pose on each side before we start to cool down. So first, just feeling sturdy in both feet, and then shifting more weight into the left side of your body as you start to lift your right knee in toward the chest. So you can grab hold of the front of the shin, plugging the shoulders into place, and lifting it only as far as you can today. If it's this far, that's great. Just focus on bringing all of your energy into the left side of the body, feeling the space from your left foot all the way through the head. We're going to come into Warrior 3. So you can bring your hands to your hips or hands to heart center, whatever feels like you have the most balance. And then keeping your foot really flexed, your right foot really flexed. Start to kick it back as if you were to stamp your foot on the back wall, letting yourself hinge at your hips naturally as you do so to create a straight line with your body from your right foot through the crown of the head. This might be really wobbly, might fall a few times, probably will, but just feeling what that sensation would be like to get there. Perfect. And then slowly, see if you can really slowly lower your back toes to the ground into a high lunge from here. Perfect. And reach the arms up, stretch long, and then just step your back foot up to meet your front foot back in your mountain pose. Perfect. So do that on the other side when you're ready, maybe shaking out the standing leg, doing whatever you need to reset. And then when you're ready, just starting to shift your weight onto the right side. So this is no rush at all. Just go at your own pace. You know where we're going now. So you can start lifting your left knee up toward your chest, maybe hugging it in for a moment just to feel that nice stretch. And making sure to keep both legs really active. Your floating leg is just as important as your balancing leg. So when you start to kick it back, feel all the muscles in that leg as if you were standing on the floor, keeping your foot really flexed, keeping your core really engaged, letting yourself wobble, finding a focal point. Seeing how long you can hold this. And then when you need to, seeing if you can, with control, slowly lower into your high lunge. Perfect. It's a tough one. Inhale, reach the arms up, and then step up back into your mountain pose. Perfect. So we'll come into a wide leg forward fold just to start to cool down. So you can come a long way on your mat. Feet are parallel to each other, wider than hips width distance. You can bring your hands to your hips and inhale, lift your heart slightly. And exhale, hinge at your hips to your wide leg forward fold. So it's okay to have a slight bend in the knees here, not to hyperextend the legs. You can let the arms rest wherever they're comfortable on the floor, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, maybe grabbing the ankles, or reaching the palms back in between the legs. Many different options to take. But the same thing as in our regular forward fold. So see if you can pay attention to where the weight is being distributed in the feet. Rocking forward and back and side to side. And then finding that place in the middle and then bringing your weight slightly forward. That you feel your hips lifting even higher. Feeling this really nice stretch down the back inside of the thighs. Maybe you're feeling this mostly in the spine. So focusing your energy and breath there. For 3 more big rounds of breath. And then from here, just really slowly, you can start to walk your hands up the legs. Bring yourself back up to standing. One final time. Bring a hand to the belly, a hand to the heart. Let the blood settle back in. And then staying where you're facing on your mat, bring your toes to face the corners of your mat and bring your feet in so it's just slightly wider than hips width distance. So we'll come into our Malasana squat. And bring your hands to heart center. Bend the knees as you bring the elbows inside of the knees. Sink your hips down as you lift the heart and head up to your yogi squat. Great, you can sink the hips even lower if that's possible. It's always nice to put a blanket under the heels or a block under the seat. We won't be here for long, but we can talk about it. And really slowly, start to reach your fingertips forward as you sit your bum on your mat. So you can do anything you'd like to do to just reset, but I'm gonna come into a half dragonfly pose. So you can extend your left leg long out to the edge of your mat, and then bring your sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Great. And if you don't naturally find yourself hinging at your hips, feel free to elevate them with a blanket or pillow. It can just be nice in general. And then when you're ready, we'll just start to fold straight forward. So your shoulders are square and in line with the hips. And just allow yourself to release forward here. Notice if your sit bones start to lift off of the mat. And just see if you can gently maybe push into the hands so that you can sit them back down so they're firm on the mat. Feeling this really nice stretch down the inside of your left leg. Tuning into the breath. Noticing where the breath naturally wants to travel. Relaxing the forehead, the jaw, the tongue, the cheeks. Just letting yourself be completely in this moment. Noticing when you wander from this moment. And just gently reminding yourself to come back. Now just start to walk your hands toward your left leg. And bring your hands to frame your leg. So mom, you were doing that before, so now what you can do is come inside of it. So bring both of your hands inside. Yeah, perfect. But everyone else, you can just bring your hands to frame the left leg. So focusing more on the hamstring. And you can make any adjustments you need to just to find that area of comfort. If you have any pillows or blocks, you can rest your head. When our bones are supported, then our muscles can relax. So the goal of Yin is to let us feel completely supported, not like we're straining to get into a position. And if you do feel like you're straining, just back off. You can even be all the way up here, and this can be your stretch. You just want to get to a place of ease and just relax. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. And a few more deep breaths here. And then very slowly, you can start to roll yourself up back to your seat. You can bring your hands back behind you, maybe bring the legs in and just bring them straight and open up the heart, just counter the spine a little bit. Perfect. Yeah, shake out the legs, whatever you need. And then we'll do that on the other side when you're ready. So you can extend your right leg out to the side and bring the sole of your left foot to the inner thigh or to your pubic area. And then you you can leave your shoulders in line with the hips and just come straight forward. So both your hands are inside of your other leg. And just fold here. Again, options to make a tower with the fists, maybe resting the head on the hands, or a block, or whatever you have near you. Or you can totally just allow yourself to hang in gravity. I'm sure you can notice right away if the side feels different than the other side. Just noticing that, making any small adjustments you feel like you need to make. And letting yourself find that stillness. Find that space right in between the past and the future. Just where you're noticing, where you're observing. Stepping back and into that observer in the mind. Where there's no opinions. There's no things that need to be done or said. Just simply observing everything that is in this moment. You can start to slowly walk your hands over to the right leg. Just bringing them to frame that leg, adjusting them as you need to. Just focusing a bit deeper on your right hamstring. And noticing how this affects the stretch in the spine as well. Might be feeling this more down the lower left side of the back. Whatever point in your body is talking to you the loudest, visualizing this body area or part as you inhale and seeing your breath energizing this area. And as you exhale, seeing this breath disperse and release and soften this area. Just seeing how deeply you can surrender here. A few more rounds of breath. And then slowly beginning to walk yourself back up to your seat. You can straighten the legs long in front of you, bring the hands back behind you as you open the heart, just countering the spine. And as you're ready, you can bring the soles of your feet to touch, and we'll come into a long-legged butterfly. So the feet can be opened like a book, or the soles of the feet can be touching, whatever your legs and feet naturally want to do. You can bring some support for the knees if they don't reach the ground and if that feels better. Or if you want to go deeper into the hip abductors, you can always bring a block in between the feet. So lots of options for you. Just find, you can explore here too, even if there's something that feels better that I didn't mention. Just come to wherever it feels right for you in this moment and allow yourself to fold. Again, it can be really helpful to bring something underneath the hips. Feeling the forehead softening, the jaw softening. And feeling the forehead soften even more. The jaw releasing even more. Letting the neck fully surrender. So the head is just dangling. And just finding yourself in this stillness. Trusting this stillness. Letting your breath be like waves in the ocean, coming in and out of your body with ease. Each exhale, letting go of one more thing. Whether that is an area of tension in the body, or maybe a thought within the mind. Allowing one more thing to leave your body on each exhale. And oftentimes, if we have a thought that is disturbing and repeating within the head, it can often correspond to an area of tension in the body. So sometimes, instead of telling ourselves not to think about something, it's easier to tell our bodies to relax. Bring ourselves into the physical world rather than the mental. And consciously relax everything we can. And just watch how the thoughts will naturally dissipate with the body. Taking 3 more deep breaths here. Very slowly, very gently, begin to bring yourself back up to your seat. You can grab the outsides of the knees and just bring them in together. Give yourself a hug. And slowly start to bring yourself to lay on your back. So you can walk your hands down the thighs. You can maybe hug the knees into the chest for a moment when you arrive. But when you're ready, just reach your legs down on or your feet down on the mat. And just shift your hips over to the right side of your mat. And then extend your legs long so they're resting, or your feet are on the left corner of the mat. And then reach your arms up to the top left corner of your mat. So both your feet and your hands are on the left and your hips are on the right. Making this banana shape with the body. This is called Bananasana. And you can cross your right ankle over your left. You can grab your right wrist with your left hand. And with both hips firm on the ground, so your both shoulders and both hips are on the ground. That's great. And just really feeling this whole area you're creating from the right ankles through the side body, all the way through the right wrist. And allow yourself to rest here. As you breathe in, scanning the body from the toes to the fingers. And as you breathe out, scanning the body from the toes, or from the fingers to the toes. And letting your awareness crawl up and down the body with your breath. Noticing any areas of tension and consciously relaxing them. All the muscles in the face are softening. The belly is softening. The feet and the hands. And taking a few more breaths here. And as you're ready, you can start to bend your knees, bringing the soles of the feet back to the ground, and shift your hips and your shoulders back to center. Just feel yourself in the center of your mat again. And then as you're ready, we'll do that on the other side. Your hips can come to the left side of your mat as your feet reach toward the right corner of your mat, maybe crossing the left ankle over the right. Then your arms reaching up and over to the right. Making this really nice and long banana shape with the body. Feeling how this pose is lengthening the stomach, all the muscles there, all the organs there. Feeling all the space you're creating in between the hips and the ribs. Breathing into this space. Feel the muscles in your belly relax. The glutes relax. The muscles of the face, shoulders. Letting everything soften into this pose. allowing yourself to fully surrender here. Taking a few final breaths in this pose. And when you're ready, you can release your arms by your side, bend the knees as you bring your hips back to center. And just hug the knees into the chest. Slowly rock side to side. Just getting any kinks out of the lower back, out of the hips. And then when you're ready, you can bring the soles of your feet back down to the ground and shift your hips back to the right side of your mat as you let your knees fall to the left. Coming into a reclined supine twist. And extend your arms into a T shape, maybe bringing your gaze to look over your right fingertips. Feeling both shoulders firm on the mat. Both shoulders softening closer into the mat. Feeling the belly soft, navel sinking in closer to the spine. Letting your breath be slow and steady. Letting yourself surrender a bit more with each exhale. Feeling this position, massaging the organs in the belly, wringing out the spine. Just allowing all the healing benefits of this pose to occur. Letting the breath travel where it naturally wants to travel. And then very slowly, you can begin to bring your head back to center. Bring your knees back to center. And shift your hips back to center. Pausing for a moment here, just feeling the difference. And then as you're ready, shifting your hips to the left side of your mat as your knees fall to the right. And extend your left arm long and turn your gaze over the left shoulder and fingertips. And letting yourself surrender here. The belly is soft. The eyes are soft. And just trusting this moment, trusting your breath. Taking a few final breaths here. Seeing how deeply you can surrender. When you're ready, you can gently guide your head back to center, your knees, and then your hips. Hugging the knees back into the chest, just resetting the spine. Lifting your feet up toward the ceiling as you're ready. Maybe shaking them out for a moment, and then just letting them rest in the sockets. Reaching the arms up as you're ready. Letting all the limbs just rest in their sockets. Feel all the organs in the belly settling back into their rightful positions. Feeling the four corners of your torso against the mat. As you feel ready, you can come into your happy baby if that feels good, or take any little movements at all you feel like you need to take before our final Shavasana, our final resting pose. And whenever you feel ready, just releasing where you are. Feeling the body fully supported by the mat beneath you, and by the earth itself. Feeling that love and support radiating up into your body from the earth. And feeling that love and support radiating down to you from the heavens above. Feeling all of the love you're surrounded by, and allowing it to soak into your body. Allowing yourself to heal. If you want to stay longer in your Shavasana, please do so. If you're feeling ready, you can allow my voice to guide you out. Starting by deepening the breath, breathing into every corner of the body. Wiggling fingers and toes, maybe rocking the head side to side. Reaching the arms for a morning stretch as you're ready. And finding your way to a fetal position on one side. Whenever you feel ready, leaving the eyes gently closed for now, you can make your way up to your seat. We'll meet with our hands at heart center. Just thanking yourself for your practice today and every day. And may this continue to heal you throughout the rest of your evening into a wonderful night's sleep with wonderful dreams, and bring some of this love and light into everyone you cross paths with. Namaste.